as the Soviet Union declared war, citing the complete lack of attempt by the Japanese to make peace. These two things combined spurred the Japanese government into action and would make surrender the obvious next choice, but fun fact, no. You see, the military and some of the cabinet believed that the Allies probably didn't have any more nuclear weapons, and that the demands for unconditional surrender were actually a clever ruse to hide their own weakness, and that if Japan would simply hold out, the Allies would soon back down. As a result, they accepted surrender but on the following conditions. First, that the emperor remain on the throne. Second, that Japan would oversee its own disarmament. Third, that the home islands wouldn't be occupied. And fourth, that there would be no trials for war criminals. Suzuki and those on his side pushed for just maintaining the emperor bit, which Hirohito agreed to and may let the United States know. The Allies promptly rejected it, because that's not what unconditional means. The Allied rejection set off alarm bells across the army, and many of its officers now believe that the Allies would seek to dominate Japan and make it an American puppet republic. As such, some mid-ranking officers started to move troops into Tokyo, since they believed that only a coup could now stop the surrender. And whilst a coup against the emperor might seem like an extreme action, it's important to note that there was precedent for what they were doing. The 1930s were a tumultuous time for Japan, with the army, the navy, the civilian government, and the emperor all vying for power. And during this, things got out of hand. Hardliners in the army and the navy attempted numerous coups against the government to secure their respective control over the country, but these coups failed every single time, mostly due to the fact that the army, or at least the rest of it, wasn't on board. Now, you'd be forgiven for expecting in the Imperial Japan that these coup attempts would be punished severely. But you'd be mostly wrong. The vast majority of those involved were barely punished at all. In fact, when the motives of hyper-nationalist, imperialistic, emperor-worshipping militarism became clear, the public seemed to agree. Also, by routinely stopping the coups against the emperor, the army's role in government became much more prominent, meaning that they kind of got what they wanted anyway. Going back to 1945, Major Kenji Hatanaka, the coup's leader, asked Minister Anami if he would join them in their little coup, to which he said nothing. But also he didn't turn them in or try to dissuade them from doing anything, which they took as a green light. Over the following days, the plotters moved some more of their troops into Tokyo and finalized what the coup's objectives were.